Right now, as you watch this video, there are 6 invisible portals in your energy body that have been deliberately hidden from you. While the world teaches you about 7 chakras, ancient texts that were buried, banned, and removed from public knowledge speak of 13. But here is what will shake you to your core. Those 6 extra chakras were not hidden by accident. They were concealed by interdimensional entities known as the archons, because activating these portals would give you powers that would free you from their control system. In 1945, a farmer in Egypt stumbled upon clay jars containing manuscripts that had been buried for over 1,600 years. These Gnostic texts describe something terrifying: parasitic beings that feed on human consciousness and manipulate our spiritual evolution. And buried within those same texts were references to energy centers that extend far beyond the traditional 7 chakras taught in modern spirituality. What I'm about to share with you has been systematically erased from mainstream spiritual teaching. The 7 chakra system you know is a prison designed to keep you operating at limited frequencies. Today you will discover the 6 hidden keys that unlock your true multidimensional nature, and more importantly, why powerful forces have worked for millennia to keep you from ever finding them. Walk into any yoga studio, open any meditation app, or attend any spiritual workshop, and you will be taught the same system: 7 chakras arranged along your spine, from the base to the crown of your head. Root chakra for grounding and survival. Sacral chakra for creativity and sexuality. Solar plexus for personal power. Heart chakra for love and compassion. Throat chakra for communication. Third eye for intuition. Crown chakra for spiritual connection. This framework comes primarily from Hindu tantric traditions and was introduced to the Western world in the early 20th century through Theosophy and New Age movements. It has become so universally accepted that questioning it seems almost heretical in spiritual communities. Millions of people work diligently to balance and activate these 7 centers, believing they are accessing the complete energetic anatomy of the human being. But there is a problem. Ancient Vedic texts that predate the popularized 7 chakra model describe a far more complex system. The Shat Chakra Nirupana, written in 1577, focuses on 6 primary chakras, not 7. Earlier tantric manuscripts reference additional energy centers above and below the physical body. Kabbalistic teachings in Jewish mysticism describe the tree of life with 10 primary sephirot, plus a hidden 11th, mapping consciousness across multiple dimensions. Pre-Christian Gnostic communities taught initiation rites that activated energy portals extending deep into the earth and high into the cosmic realms. These traditions were not describing theoretical concepts. They were documenting direct, experiential knowledge of the human energy system that modern spirituality has forgotten or deliberately ignored. The 13 chakra system represents a complete map of your multidimensional anatomy. 2 additional chakras exist below your feet, anchoring you into planetary consciousness and Earth's crystalline grid. 4 more exist above your crown, creating bridges to your soul's origin, galactic collectives, universal consciousness, and ultimately the infinite source that exists beyond all matrices. When you operate only within the 7 chakra framework, you remain confined to a specific bandwidth of reality. You can achieve personal healing, emotional balance, and spiritual growth, but you never fully transcend the limitations of the physical and lower astral dimensions. You remain tethered to the reincarnation cycle, vulnerable to energetic manipulation, and disconnected from the higher aspects of your own being. This is not accidental. The incomplete 7 chakra system serves a purpose for those who benefit from keeping humanity spiritually imprisoned. To understand who would want this and why, we must confront an uncomfortable truth that most spiritual teachers refuse to discuss. There are predatory forces operating in dimensions beyond physical sight that have a vested interest in keeping you unconscious of your full potential. In those same Nag Hammadi texts discovered in Egypt, the Gnostics described these entities in detail. They called them archons, which translates to rulers or authorities. These are not demons from religious mythology. They are interdimensional parasites that exist in frequency bands just beyond normal human perception. According to Gnostic cosmology, the archons created a false overlay reality on top of true creation, a simulation designed to trap human souls in endless cycles of suffering, death, amnesia, and forced reincarnation. The archons feed on specific emotional frequencies, particularly fear, anger, shame, and despair. They have influenced human institutions throughout history, working through religions, governments, financial systems, and even corrupted spiritual movements to maintain a population that generates the emotional energy they consume. The Gnostics taught that these beings are terrified of awakened humans because once you activate your complete energy system, you become invisible to their influence and capable of escaping their control grid entirely. This is why the 6 additional chakras have been systematically removed from mainstream spiritual knowledge. Every meditation technique that focuses only on 7 centers, every healing modality that ignores the portals above and below, every spiritual teaching that keeps you focused on personal growth within the physical dimension is reinforcing the archonic cage, whether the teachers realize it or not. The question becomes unavoidable. If this information is so dangerous to those in power, how was it suppressed so thoroughly? Who coordinated this deception across cultures and centuries? And what exactly do these 6 hidden chakras unlock that makes them such a threat? Thousands of years ago, mystery schools across the ancient world taught the complete energetic anatomy of the human soul. Initiates in Egypt underwent rigorous training in temples along the Nile, learning to activate energy centers that extended deep into the earth and high into the stars. The priests of Karnak and the adepts of the Great Pyramid were not simply worshipping gods. They were practicing advanced consciousness technology that allowed them to navigate multiple dimensions, communicate with non-physical intelligences, and ultimately free themselves from the wheel of compulsory reincarnation. Similar teachings existed in ancient Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, pre-Vedic India, and the mystery traditions of Greece. Initiates of the Eleusinian mysteries experienced profound, altered states that revealed the true nature of the soul's journey beyond death. Orphic traditions taught methods for avoiding the deceptive traps in the afterlife. These were not primitive superstitions. They were sophisticated spiritual sciences based on direct knowledge of how consciousness operates across multiple dimensions. But something changed. As patriarchal religious structures began to consolidate power, these older teachings became dangerous. Knowledge is power, and spiritual knowledge is the most threatening of all because it cannot be controlled through physical force. A population that knows how to activate their full energetic potential cannot be dominated by external authorities. They cannot be frightened into obedience through threats of hell or damnation. They cannot be manipulated through guilt, shame, or promises of salvation. The systematic destruction of this knowledge began in earnest with the rise of institutional Christianity. In 325 CE, Emperor Constantine convened the Council of Nicaea, where bishops and church officials decided which texts would be included in the official Bible and which would be declared heretical. Over 75 books were excluded, including Gospels that described Jesus' teaching about reincarnation, the nature of the archons, and methods for spiritual liberation that did not require intermediaries or church authority. The excluded texts were not simply ignored, they were actively hunted down and destroyed. Libraries were burned, mystery schools were shut down, practitioners of the old wisdom traditions were executed as heretics. The famous destruction of the Library of Alexandria, which occurred in multiple stages between 48 BCE and 642 CE, represents one of the greatest losses of ancient knowledge in human history. Countless scrolls describing advanced spiritual practices went up in flames. What survived was hidden. The Nag Hammadi library remained buried in clay jars for 1600 years because Gnostic monks knew their texts would be destroyed if discovered by the emerging Orthodox Church. When they were finally found in 1945, scholars were stunned to find detailed descriptions of the archons and their methods of controlling human consciousness. The texts explicitly warned about false light beings who trick souls at the moment of death, leading them into reincarnation traps disguised as heavenly realms. But the suppression did not end in ancient times. Even today, mainstream spirituality is carefully curated. The New Age movement, which exploded in the 1960s and 70s, brought Eastern concepts like chakras and meditation to Western audiences. However, the teachings were filtered, simplified, and stripped of their most powerful elements. The 7-chakra system became standardized not because it represents complete truth, but because it was safe enough to be commercialized without threatening existing power structures. Many modern spiritual teachers, often unknowingly, perpetuate incomplete information. They focus exclusively on love and light, while ignoring the shadow forces that manipulate human energy fields. Some channel entities claim to be ascended, masters, or benevolent extraterrestrials, but the Gnostic warnings are clear. Archons frequently disguise themselves as beings of light to gain trust and spread disinformation that keeps people spiritually complacent. The 7-chakra limitation creates a specific type of consciousness, prison. When your awareness is confined to these 7 centers, you remain focused on the physical body and lower astral dimensions. The root chakra keeps you preoccupied with survival, money, and material security. The sacral chakra binds you to sexual desire and emotional reactivity. The solar plexus traps you in ego battles and power struggles with other people. Even the heart chakra, while beautiful, can be weaponized through emotional manipulation and unhealthy attachments. The throat chakra limits your expression to socially acceptable frameworks. The third eye, when only partially activated, becomes a screen for implanted visions and false spiritual experiences generated by archonic entities. And the crown chakra, without access to the higher portals above it, only connects you to the lower levels of the astral plane, where these predatory beings reside and masquerade as spiritual guides. This is the genius of the deception. The 7-chakra system is not completely false. It is simply incomplete. It gives you enough spiritual progress to feel like you're advancing while keeping you safely confined within controllable boundaries. You can achieve personal healing and some peace, but you never access the portals that would truly set you free. The 6 hidden chakras represent the keys to that freedom. The Earth Star chakra below your feet connects you to planetary consciousness and creates an impenetrable energetic shield against manipulation. The Soul Star above your crown holds all your memories across all lifetimes and gives you the power to revoke false soul contracts. The Galactic, Universal, and Divine Gateway chakras extend your consciousness beyond the quarantine field around Earth, connecting you to levels of reality where the archons cannot follow. Religious institutions teach that seeking knowledge beyond approved doctrine is sinful pride or dangerous curiosity. Scientific materialism insists that consciousness is merely brain activity and nothing exists beyond physical death. Mainstream spirituality tells you to focus on love while ignoring predatory dynamics in unseen dimensions. All of these systems, whether through deliberate coordination or unconscious complicity, serve the same function, keeping the 6 hidden chakras deactivated and unknown. But the information survived. It was encoded in myths, whispered in mystery schools, and preserved by lineages of initiates who understood its importance. Now, as humanity approaches a collective awakening point, this knowledge is resurfacing. The question is whether you will recognize it and act upon it before the window closes. Let me take you through each of the 6 hidden chakras with precision. These are not abstract concepts or New Age inventions. They are documented energy centers that have been experienced and mapped by advanced practitioners across multiple wisdom traditions. Understanding their location, function, and power is the first step toward reclaiming your complete energetic sovereignty. The first hidden portal is the Earth Star chakra, located approximately 12 to 18 inches below your feet. While your root chakra at the base of your spine connects you to physical survival and your body's basic needs, the Earth Star anchors you into something far deeper, the living consciousness of the planet itself. This chakra appears in shamanic traditions worldwide, from the Andean cultures of South America to the Aboriginal Dreamtime practices of Australia. When the Earth Star is fully activated, you establish a direct connection with Gaia's crystalline core. The planet has its own electromagnetic field, its own consciousness, its own energetic grid of ley lines and power points. Ancient temple builders knew about this grid and constructed sacred sites like Stonehenge, the Great Pyramid, and Machu Picchu on major intersection points. These locations were not chosen randomly. They were energetic acupuncture points on the body of the Earth. The practical power of the Earth Star is profound. It creates grounding that extends beyond mere physical stability. When this chakra is active, you become resistant to frequency manipulation technologies, energetic attacks from jealous or hostile individuals, and the emotional contagion that spreads through collective fear events. The Archons find it extremely difficult to influence someone with a strong Earth Star connection because this chakra creates a protective buffer around your entire energy field. Even deeper than the Earth Star are subpersonal Earth chakras that some advanced systems recognize. These extend down through layers of planetary consciousness into what certain traditions call the Omega Point, or Gaia's memory core. Activating these deepest portals grants access to ancient knowledge stored in the planetary grid itself, including information about previous civilizations that rose and fell on Earth, the true history of human origins, and the energetic blueprints encoded in sacred geometry. Moving upward, the first portal above your crown chakra is the Soul Star, positioned approximately 6 to 12 inches above your head. This is where your higher self resides, the aspect of your consciousness that exists outside linear time and physical incarnation. The Soul Star contains the complete record of every lifetime you have ever lived, not only on Earth but across multiple star systems and dimensional realities. This is perhaps the most threatening chakra to the Archonic control system, because the Soul Star gives you direct access to your soul contracts. Before incarnating, souls often make agreements about what they will experience in a lifetime. However, Gnostic teachings warn that many of these contracts are negotiated under deception. Archonic entities pose as spiritual guides or karmic authorities and convince souls to accept burdens of suffering that serve the Archonic feeding system rather than genuine spiritual evolution. When your Soul Star activates, you gain the clarity and sovereign authority to examine these contracts and revoke any that were based on manipulation or lies. You begin to remember who you truly are beyond the personality constructed in this current body. Suddenly, the amnesia that normally descends at birth starts to lift. You recall skills, knowledge, relationships, and purposes that span multiple incarnations. This is terrifying to controlling forces, because it means you can no longer be gaslit about your true identity and power. The third hidden portal is the Galactic Chakra, located approximately 18 to 24 inches above the Soul Star. This energy center connects you to galactic consciousness, the vast network of civilizations, councils, and collectives that exist beyond Earth's quarantine field. Yes, Earth exists within an energetic quarantine, a frequency fence maintained by the Archonic system to prevent most humans from accessing cosmic awareness. When the Galactic Chakra opens, that barrier becomes penetrable. You establish communication with star nations and beings who operate beyond Archonic influence. Many people who activate this portal begin experiencing memories of past lives on other planets. They receive downloads of information about technologies, healing methods, and spiritual practices that do not exist in mainstream human culture. Some make contact with what they recognize as their star family, soul groups they incarnated with, across multiple planetary systems before coming to Earth. This explains why mainstream science and media work so aggressively to ridicule extraterrestrial contact and paint anyone interested in the subject as unstable or delusional. keeping humanity convinced that we are alone in the universe prevents activation of the galactic chakra. If you believe Earth is all there is, you never attempt to reach beyond the prison walls. The fourth hidden portal is the universal chakra, positioned approximately 36 to 48 inches above the galactic center. This chakra connects you to the universal mind, the collective consciousness of all beings throughout this entire universe. Imagine a library containing every thought, every experience, every piece of wisdom accumulated across billions of years and countless civilizations. That is what becomes accessible through the universal chakra. Mystics who achieved what their traditions called enlightenment or cosmic consciousness were accessing this portal. The Buddha under the Bodhi tree, Christian mystics in states of divine union, Sufi poets describing annihilation in God, Hindu sages realizing Brahman. These experiences share a common thread of merging individual awareness with the totality of existence. This is not a metaphor. It is a literal energetic connection through the universal chakra. When this portal fully activates, your sense of individual identity expands to include the infinite. You understand the holographic nature of reality, where each part contains the whole. You see through the illusions and veils that have been placed over human perception by the control system. Most critically, you gain the ability to consciously navigate the afterlife, instead of being herded like cattle through processing stations designed to wipe your memory and force you back into another incarnation. The fifth and highest hidden portal is the divine gateway chakra, existing in the infinite expanse beyond even universal consciousness. This is the connection to Source itself, the absolute from which all realities emerge. It is the exit point from all matrices, all simulations, all created worlds. Every universe, every dimension, every possible reality exists within Source consciousness, but Source itself transcends all forms. Activating the divine gateway means realizing direct experiential knowledge that you are not separate from the Creator. You are an individualized expression of infinite consciousness, temporarily focused into a specific point of view. This is the level of mastery that true spiritual avatars achieved, and it is the birthright of every human soul, regardless of their current level of development. The archons cannot exist at the frequency of the divine gateway. Their parasitic nature requires dense, fear-based emotional energy to sustain them. The vibration of Source consciousness is so pure, so high, so absolutely sovereign that these entities cannot even perceive it, much less interfere with beings operating from that level. This is why activating this final portal represents complete and total liberation from all forms of control, manipulation, and limitation. The sixth category includes additional sub-personal portals beneath even the Earth star that certain advanced systems map. These anchor you into protective grids maintained by benevolent planetary guardians and create multiple layers of energetic shielding. These 6 chakras, combined with the traditional 7, form your complete energetic anatomy. They are not fantasy. They are real, functional portals documented across wisdom traditions and directly experienced by practitioners who dedicate themselves to activation. But knowledge alone changes nothing. The critical question is, how do you actually open these sealed doorways? Opening the 6 hidden chakras requires more than intellectual understanding. These are energetic structures that respond to frequency, intention, and sustained practice. However, before I share the activation protocols, you must understand something critical. The control system will resist your awakening. When you begin this work, you may experience interference. This interference can manifest in multiple ways: sudden health issues with no clear medical cause, emotional turbulence that seems to come from nowhere, conflicts erupting in important relationships, financial problems appearing out of thin air, powerful distractions, pulling your attention away from spiritual practice, electronic devices malfunctioning, vivid nightmares or sleep paralysis experiences. These are not paranoia or coincidence. The archonic system has invested heavily in keeping you asleep, and it will deploy countermeasures when you begin to wake up. The first phase of activation is purification. Your existing 7 chakras are likely congested with decades of accumulated emotional debris, traumatic imprints, negative thought patterns, and potentially energetic implants placed by archonic entities. These blockages must be cleared before higher frequencies can flow through your system without causing damage. Practical purification methods include extended fasting to reset your physical and energetic body. Plant medicine ceremonies with substances like ayahuasca or psilocybin can rapidly clear blockages, though these should only be used in safe, legal, ceremonial contexts with experienced guides. Sound healing using specific frequencies is powerful. The solfeggio scale includes tones that target different energetic centers: 396 Hz for releasing fear and guilt, 5028 Hz for transformation and DNA repair, 9063 Hz for activating pineal gland function and higher chakras. Spending extended time in nature, particularly near large bodies of water or in old-growth forests, helps dissolve artificial frequencies and reconnect you with Earth's natural electromagnetic field. Avoiding toxic inputs is equally important. Mainstream news designed to generate fear, processed foods that lower your vibration, relationships with energy, vampires who drain your vitality, and any substances that create holes in your energetic field, like alcohol and hard drugs. Protection protocols must be established before attempting higher activations. Every morning, visualize a sphere of brilliant light surrounding your entire body and energy field. Gold or violet frequencies are particularly effective. Speak aloud your intention that only beings aligned with truth, love, and your highest good may enter your energetic space. Call upon your authentic higher self, not false spirit guides that may be archonic imposters. Command that all parasitic attachments, cords, and implants be removed and dissolved. Once purification and protection are in place, begin with the Earth Star. Sit or stand barefoot on the ground if possible. Concrete and asphalt block energetic connections, so grass, soil, sand, or stone is ideal. Close your eyes and visualize roots growing from the soles of your feet downward into the earth. See them going deeper through layers of soil and rock, down through underground rivers and caverns, all the way to the crystalline core at the planet's center. Feel the ancient, stable, immensely powerful energy of Gaia's heart. It is wise beyond human comprehension, patient beyond human understanding. Allow that energy to rise up through the roots you have visualized, flowing into your feet, up through your legs, filling your entire body with Earth consciousness. Declare your intention to activate your Earth Star chakra and receive the planet's protection. Practice this daily until you can feel the Earth Star pulsing with energy, even when you are not actively meditating. With the Earth Star stable, turn your attention upward to the Soul Star. Visualize a sphere of radiant light hovering 6 to 12 inches above the crown of your head. This light may appear white, gold, crystalline, or a color unique to your soul's signature frequency. This is your higher self, the eternal aspect of your being that knows everything you have ever experienced across all lifetimes and dimensions. Ask to remember who you truly are. Request that any false contracts, manipulated agreements, or karmic burdens that do not serve your highest evolution be revealed to your conscious awareness. You may experience sudden memories flooding in, emotions releasing for no apparent reason, or profound insights about your life purpose. Keep a journal close during this phase. Your soul is communicating with you through symbols, feelings, and intuitive knowing. As the Soul Star stabilizes, extend your awareness to the galactic chakra. Visualize a column of light rising from your Soul Star upward into the cosmos. See this beam of light piercing through Earth's energetic quarantine field, breaking through the barriers that have kept humanity isolated from galactic consciousness. Feel your awareness expanding beyond the planet, beyond the solar system, out into the vast network of stars and civilizations. You may encounter non-physical beings during this process. Use discernment. Ask any entity directly, are you aligned with source consciousness and the highest good of all beings? Genuine helpers will answer clearly and demonstrate their alignment through the quality of energy they emanate. Archonic imposters often become hostile, evasive, or manipulative when directly challenged with this question. The universal chakra activation requires even greater expansion. From the galactic portal, extend your awareness further into the infinite. Feel yourself becoming vast, limitless, containing multitudes. You are not losing your individual identity but adding to it, recognizing that your true nature includes the entire universe. Every star, every planet, every being that has ever existed is part of the same unified field of consciousness that you are. This level often triggers profound existential experiences. Some people feel momentary terror as ego boundaries dissolve. Others experience indescribable bliss as they merge with the infinite. Both reactions are normal. Breathe through whatever arises. You are safe. You are held by something far greater than your small self can comprehend. The divine gateway is the ultimate activation and cannot be forced. You can only prepare yourself through the previous steps and allow it to occur when your frequency reaches the necessary resonance. Meditate on the nature of source consciousness itself. Contemplate the infinite from which all things emerge and to which all things return. Surrender every concept, every belief, every identity, construct you have ever held. In that space of absolute emptiness, the divine gateway opens. When it does, you will know beyond any shadow of doubt. There is no mistaking this activation. It is not a subtle energy shift or a pleasant meditative state. It is a fundamental restructuring of your entire being, a homecoming to your true nature as an eternal expression of infinite creative consciousness. Maintain these activations through regular practice. The archonic system will attempt to close these portals if you slip back into unconscious living. Protect your energy field daily. Meditate regularly on the complete 13 chakra system. Surround yourself with others who are also awakening. The collective field of conscious individuals amplifies and stabilizes everyone's progress. Picture this: billions of humans walking the earth with all 13 chakras fully activated. Every person operating as a sovereign, multidimensional being, immune to manipulation, connected to source consciousness, and living from their highest purpose. This is not utopian fantasy. This is the future that ancient prophecies across cultures have been pointing toward, and it is the outcome that terrifies the archonic control system more than anything else. When you personally activate the complete chakra system, transformation touches every aspect of your existence. The existential fear that drives most human behavior simply evaporates. You know with absolute certainty that you are an eternal soul, having a temporary physical experience. Death becomes a doorway, not an ending to be dreaded. This single shift in consciousness liberates you from the fear-based control mechanisms that govern conventional society. Money and status lose their hypnotic power over your choices. You still function in the material world, but you are no longer enslaved by it. Your motivation shifts from external validation to internal alignment. You make decisions based on what serves your soul's evolution and contributes to collective awakening rather than what impresses others or provides temporary comfort. Your natural psychic abilities begin expressing spontaneously. Telepathy with trusted individuals becomes commonplace. Clairvoyant visions provide guidance before you consciously understand why you need it. Precognitive dreams warn you about situations to avoid or opportunities to pursue. Healing energy flows through your hands to help others without formal training. These are not special powers reserved for rare individuals. They are normal capabilities of a fully activated human operating with their complete energetic anatomy. Synchronicities multiply exponentially. The universe begins speaking to you through meaningful coincidences, repeated number sequences, animals appearing at significant moments, and chance encounters that are anything but chance. You recognize these signs as communication from your higher self and benevolent forces guiding your path. Most importantly, you break the reincarnation trap. This is the ultimate threat to archonic control. When your physical body dies and you transition out of material reality, you will not be deceived by the false light tunnel that so many near-death experiences describe. You will not be fooled by beings masquerading as deceased relatives or religious figures, urging you to move toward the light and accept another incarnation. Instead, you will consciously navigate the afterlife using your activated chakras as navigational tools. Your soul star maintains your complete identity and memory across the death transition. Your galactic chakra connects you with your star family and cosmic support system. Your universal chakra gives you a clear perception of the actual structure of the afterlife dimensions. Your divine gateway allows you to return directly to source consciousness or consciously choose your next incarnation with full memory and awareness. You become an unchained soul, no longer subject to forced reincarnation, memory wipes, or karmic manipulation. This is the level of liberation that the mystery schools were training initiates to achieve. This is what the Gnostics meant when they taught about escaping the archonic realms. Now multiply this individual liberation by millions, then billions. When a critical mass of humanity activates their complete energetic system, the collective frequency of the planet shifts irreversibly. The archonic control grid, which functions like a parasitic energy harvesting operation, begins starving. These entities feed on fear, suffering, and unconsciousness. When enough humans wake up and stop generating those frequencies, the system collapses from lack of fuel. We begin seeing this breakdown already. Institutions built on deception are losing credibility at accelerating rates. People no longer blindly trust governments, mainstream media, pharmaceutical corporations, or religious authorities the way previous generations did. Financial systems designed to enslave through perpetual debt are being questioned and replaced with alternative models. Rigid hierarchies are giving way to decentralized networks. This is the transition that ancient cultures encoded in their prophecies. The Hopi described the shift from the fourth world to the fifth world, characterized by great purification. The Mayan calendar marked the end of a major cosmic cycle in 2012, not as an apocalypse, but as the beginning of a new age. Vedic texts describe the transition from Kali Yuga, the age of darkness and ignorance, to Satya Yuga, the age of truth and enlightenment. These are not myths. They are encoded memories and prophecies about this precise moment in human evolution. The controllers understand what is happening. That is why we observe increased censorship of alternative information, attacks on natural health modalities, and desperate attempts to keep humanity distracted through manufactured crises and endless entertainment. They are racing against an inevitable tipping point. But here is the critical factor they did not account for. Consciousness awakening operates through quantum principles, not linear progression. Once approximately 10% of a population reaches a new level of awareness, that consciousness becomes available to the entire collective through morphic resonance. Some call this the 100th monkey effect. We may already be closer to that critical threshold than anyone publicly acknowledges. Every single person who activates their 13 chakra system sends ripples through the collective energy field, making it easier for others to wake up. Your individual liberation is not separate from collective liberation. They are the same process occurring at different scales. This is why your choice matters more than you may realize. You are not powerless. You are not a victim of forces beyond your control or comprehension. You are a multi-dimensional being with 13 energetic portals connecting you to planetary consciousness, soul memory, galactic collectives, universal mind, and infinite source. The Archons hid 6 of those portals because they knew that if humanity activated them, Their entire control matrix would disintegrate, but the information survived. It was encoded in myths, preserved by secret lineages, and hidden in texts that were buried for centuries. Now it is resurfacing at the exact moment when humanity needs it most. The knowledge is here. The instructions are clear. The only variable is your choice. Will you continue operating within the limited 7-chakra system, accepting the boundaries imposed by corrupted spiritual teachings and institutional gatekeepers? Or will you activate the 6 hidden portals, step into your complete power, and join the wave of awakening humans who are dismantling the archonic control system through the sheer force of their sovereign consciousness? The Great Awakening is not coming. It is already here. It is happening now in this moment, through every person who chooses to remember who they truly are and reclaim their full, multidimensional nature. The Archons hid 6 chakras because those portals are the keys to human liberation. Now you know where those keys are hidden. The only question remaining is whether you will use them. Activate your 13 chakras, reclaim your sovereignty, and step into the future that has been waiting for you since before you ever forgot who you were.